This happened a long, long time ago. On a small island, which has since perished, they had an odd custom. They mourned their dead with song, with elegies. The songs would play without ceasing from the last moments before death, through the funeral, to the burial. Elegies would be sung for many purposes: to ease the grief of the family, to recall the legacy of the deceased, to appease the soul of the one who had died under stressful circumstances, to celebrate one person's life having lived to a ripe old age, or to evoke anger at another's pointless death. There were no fixed melodies or lyrics. Apparently, the songs were sung without lyrics at all. No documents have survived, so all we can do is assemble oral histories, sighs the archaeologist as she views the island from the deck of the ship. The people of the island country had no writing system, which means they had no way to leave behind signs or evidence of their lives. I wish we could have at least interviewed a few survivors, but there weren't any. Every single person was killed. The research team's archaeologist is a young woman in her 20s. Her country is the one that destroyed the island. It happened while her ancestors, 7 generations back, were still young people. I hate to badmouth my own country, but they really didn't have to go that far. That far is no exaggeration. Her country prided itself on its overwhelming military force. For it to gain mastery over the tiny island would have been as simple as twisting an infant's arm. But her country believed in oppressing its neighbors with force. The leaders were thinking more of those neighbors than of the lands itself when it launched its all-out attack. It was scorched from end to end. Every human being on the island, from newborn babies to elders on the verge of death, was killed without mercy. It's odd, though, says the young woman with a grim smile. There are hardly any records left from that time, even in our own country. I suppose what they did was so terrible they didn't want their descendants to know about it. Her remarks prompt some older scholars on board to clear their throats, at the sound of which she snaps her mouth shut. Sorry, you're not much older than I am. You probably don't want to hear about all this old stuff anyway. I do, though. What interest can a sailor like you have in these boring academic matters? Kaim only shakes his head in silence. Suddenly things become very busy on deck. The boat is approaching the island and has entered a stretch of intricate channels where the skills of the crew will be tested. The boat's swim calls out to Kaim. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be monopolizing your time. You've got work to do. Even as she apologizes, the talkative young archaeologist asks Kaim, "Do you mind if I ask you one last question?" "Please, ask away," he replies, stopping in his tracks. She looks around to make sure no one is listening, and whispers, "I'm sure this is your first time taking a research team over." "Uh-huh." "And your first time going to the island?" "Well, yes." "So you probably don't know what about some of the bad stories they tell about this place. That some scholars who go there fall under a curse, like they get sick while doing their research on the island, or they have become mentally unstable after they get home. I've even heard some of them killed themselves." "You mean a long time ago, right?" Right. This is the first research trip in 50 years. Up to then, every time they send out a team, 1 or 2 of the members would suffer a curse. This is when they put a stop to all these years ago, so I'm a little scared myself. She sends a mock shudder through her body. "I just thought I'd ask you if you could teach me some magic spell for getting back safely." Kaim looks straight at her, not merely taking in her appearance, but searching for the person deep inside. "You'll be fine." "You think so?" "I'm pretty sure you'll be okay." She looks at him questioningly. "If you hear singing, though, Hum along with it. What do you mean? She asks, her expression increasingly uneasy, but Kaim says nothing more. Get over here now, mister! The boat swing calls out to Kaim, who heads for his station. He did tell the woman one white lie, though. This is not his first time coming to the island.